Hey there everybody, it's Steve from HypergateVR. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Showdown, our PvP shooter here at HypergateVR in Santa Monica, California, just 3 blocks from the promenade. Our friend Laquan will be with you in just a moment to give you the details as well as an in-game tour of the arena, as we call it. So let's look forward to that.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, welcome to HypergateVR, the largest VR playground in the United States. Full body, free roaming. This is Showdown. It is our PvP combat arena. 3 rounds of player versus player combat in a virtual warehouse. Each warehouse has 2 elevators. Utilizing these elevators gives you a bird's eye view of the entire stage and a tactical advantage.
Oh my!
Each team has their own startup zone where they'll load into combat. If a player dies, they return to their home base and place their hand on the medical symbol to respawn.
Alright, thank you Laquan. I'm here to show you a little bit about the facility here. You can see an overhead view of the map. When people load into the game, there'll be a pre-game lobby where we check all the hearing equipment, all the trackers to make sure everybody is seeing things correctly. And then when everybody is comfortable with their equipment, they walk along the path towards the polygon in the pre-game lobby where they put their hands inside. The reason for that polygon is to get everybody situated into the middle of the room. Once you're loaded into the game, Zone 1 as you can see on your screen, you can choose your team by either walking towards the red base, which is in the bottom left, or the blue base, which is in the bottom left, or the red base that's in the top right. There's a colored path along the way, so when people have their pre-assigned teams, they say, come with me to the blue or come with me to the red. We also give them a chance to look around the facility. As you can see, it's a wide open arena, like a warehouse. There's full of destructible covers. Anytime you see like a pallet or a piece of wood or some plywood, those can be destroyed in order to proceed through. It could also be used as temporary cover, which you'll see later. In circles 3, you'll see the elevators. The elevators are used to go straight up and straight down. Just for an elevated shooting position. For the sniper rifle in particular, it's useful because it's so much easier to hit the head from above, and headshots are double damage or a one-shot kill from the sniper rifle. This is a very advanced tactic, but it also comes with its own drawbacks in that the elevator makes a lot of noise as it goes up, and once you're up there, there's not a whole lot of room for you to duck and weave and bob. But it's a double-edged sword of sorts, so it gives you an advantage, but there's also a drawback of it too. And if somebody says he's up on the elevator, you know where they are. Teams will use strategies to prevent that sort of thing by having one person in the elevator, the other person flanking around, or another person doing more guerrilla-style warfare with the AR up close and personal. When you die in-game, you'll go to your base, and you'll see a red cross there. You put your hands inside to respawn. You spawn with a protective shield that makes you invulnerable for about 3 seconds. You'll see shields circling around you. That's to prevent people from doing what's called spawn camping or griefing by having 2 or 3 players just surround the spawning zone and just fire away as soon as they come back into the game. This can actually be used to your advantage because if people are trying to spawn camp you, when you come back with the invulnerability shield, you could take that opportunity to press your advantage because you are invulnerable, at least for the first 3 seconds. This is the map 2. So once the first round is over, you'll hear an air horn. You go back to your elevators. The elevators will go up, or down rather, they'll go down. And then once it stops, you'll hear an air horn again. You exit your base. Blue base would be in zone 1, and red base would be in zone 2, or vice versa. It would be another one. And the elevators are in zone 2. This stage is a little bit darker, and introduces the steam pipe, which you see in Zone 3. Those can be shot at to provide a temporary cover of mist and steam. You can use this to either confuse your opponents or use it as a fog of war for you to pass through unseen. It clears up in about 5 seconds, but it can really be more of advanced strategy for people who like planning ahead instead of just running and gunning. The elevators are in the same location. There's a button to call it down and a button to call off, to call it back up. You just step inside, put your hand over the button that you want. It would be an arrow pointing up or arrow pointing down. You get the idea. It's important to stay on the elevator, both the spawning elevator and the tactical elevators, until they stop moving. And because if you are to step off an elevator, especially in transitions from round 1 to round 2, you might get lost in the space in between. So that's why there's a clear air horn to tell you when the first round is over and when the second round begins. If you do so from the elevator, if you try to step off without calling the elevator down, that could be very dangerous, because if somebody is, say, underneath the elevator or like trying to look up and shoot at the person in the elevator, they think you're up there, when in reality you're actually right next to each other. So for safety's sake, it's very important to call the elevator down before exiting, and keep in mind that when it looks like somebody is up in an elevated position and your X distance between each other, that's your actual distance, not the X times Y, which would put your somebody else's location high above you. This map, like I said, is a little bit darker than the first. You can use that as to your advantage if you like skulking around in the dark and surprising people that way. Again, it comes with risk and reward. If you can't see very well, then maybe your enemy can't see very well. And it depends on what kind of person you are. Do you like to sneak around in the dark, or do you like to sort of like run and gun through the center, which is more well lit? You'll see there's more destructible cover, especially on the elevators. Like I said before, while you're up there, you're vulnerable to fire. It's easier to shoot from a height advantage, obviously. I think we all learned that from Star Wars. I have the high ground. This is Map 3. Map 3 introduces a brand new component. Those are in Zones 2 and 3. They are teleporters, so the elevators are now teleporters. They will take you to a position, which is a cage, like a pillbox almost, a firing position that could either be above your base or your enemy's base. So 2 goes to 2.1 or 2.2, for instance, and 3 goes to 3.1 or 3.2. So why would you want to do that? Well, believe it or not, if you have a sniper position directly above your enemy's spawn point, you can get some pretty cheeky kills right off the bat if people don't know that this is VR, so you have to look up and around. Things aren't like a 3D video game that's on a single plane where you never have to look up or down. So if you get caught, for instance, somebody knows you're up there in the booth above your enemy's base, there's 3 buttons inside. One takes you above your base, one takes you above the enemy's base, and the third one is the home button, which will take you home. It'll bring you back to the ground level. Like I said before, elevators make noise, so do the teleporters. Once you step inside, it makes a whirring electrical noise, and then you get zapped to either location 21 or 2.1 or 2.2, etc., etc. So it can be heard by pretty much anybody in the arena, so you know when somebody is sneaking up there if you're paying attention. And also makes a similar pulse of plasma or a lightning bolt that when you swap locations, so you can see when people are on the move. All in all, the teleporter can be a huge advantage for those people who choose to use it, because, like I said, sometimes people are so ingrained in video games that they don't expect to be shot from above. But that's the beauty of VR. It's a 360-degree world. Teleporting is not something we do all the time because, it can be disorientating, especially when you press the elevator button and you are facing one direction, and when you get teleported to the other direction, you might be facing the wrong way, so you might have to physically turn around because the center of the room is now behind you, and vice versa. So for people who don't enjoy teleportation, if that's jarring to you, maybe not use it and volunteer to be a a flanker or support person on the ground offering cover fire, etc. There are situations when you can be up in 2.1 and the enemy is in 3.2. You can see the distance between you at that point is very short, so you get in these interesting shoot-offs, basically, when you realize that somebody has just teleported in next to you. And that's the most important fight that you need to take over, because you want air superiority, basically. And it can be really shocking when you're focusing and then somebody just stops right next to you. So there's some in-game footage. You can see the blue team is using the AR. It's a 3-round burst. It does roughly 1 point of damage per bullet, double damage for headshots, and you have between 5 and 6 points of health. It should take around 6 shots from the AR to the body to kill you. Each time you're hit, you get a visual indicator in your headset, in-game headset. It'll look like a bullet hole or a crack on the screen, and when those add up to 5 or more, then you die. This person is breaking the cardinal rule of always reload your weapon. At the back of the gun, there's a HUD, or heads-up display, that'll tell you how many bullets are loaded and how many reloads you have left. With the case of the AR, reloads are infinite, so when you see -1, that's just computer science for infinite. It's irrational. So this person has a great tactical advantage, but they're not using it because they forgot to reload their weapon. It happens to everybody. We give everyone a full tutorial about how to use the gun, but still people forget. Now you see the gun can swap to a sniper rifle, which has about 41 rounds of ammo. This does 1-shot kill to the head or 2 to the body. Thing about the sniper rifle is it has a laser dot on it. The laser dot can give away your position because people can follow the beam back to its origin, and then you'll know you've been spotted. There is a scope on the gun. It works, but it's not particularly useful, as you won't be in that range very often. So this is some in-game footage of somebody using the elevator to their advantage. You can see he's got the sniper rifle, 1-shot, boom, 360 no scope, and then he got killed and turned into a ghost. You tell you're a ghost when you're see-through, transparent, and you start to glow. You'll be invisible to the enemy team unless you're within 6 feet of each other, so we don't get collisions. You might see the gun, in game you might see a floating gun, but that's just a ghost carrying a gun. So here's a great example of using cover to your advantage. You can actually shoot through the what's it called, those pallets, and they can be shot out. So you might feel like you have a good position until somebody literally blows your cover, and then he goes back to base and respawns and tries it again. That's a good example. Oh, he's breaking the cardinal rule again. He's only got 9 shots there. You see how he was a ghost, and then when he gets close, you can avoid walking into people that way. Also another reason, oh, boner cowboy. Another reason why you don't want to be running around really fast, because you don't know what's behind every wall. For instance, if somebody is hiding there and you run, you might run into them, or you might run into a ghost. So you can move at a brisk pace with the equipment on, but it's not recommended running at full speed, even though people still do it. You'll get in a rhythm eventually. I don't know if that person remembered to reload his gun. No, I don't think he did. After the round, you'll see, and you go back to your bases. The air horn will sound. You go back to your base. When everybody is in all of their bases that belong to us, you'll see the scoreboard above the red cross. The red cross, like that, is what you in zone 1 is what you use to respawn. It does not heal you. So if you have 4 points of damage or 4 bullet holes in your screen, then putting your hand in there will do nothing. You'll know you're dead when you go transparent, and when you die, you disappear in a cloud of plasma. So you could always know when you did get a confirmed kill, because did you see the plasma? Sometimes people will say, "Oh, I hit him 1,000 times and I didn't die." That's just usually bravado talking. If you hit somebody up to 5 times and they don't die, really they're just 1 shot from death, and you shouldn't be disheartened. Hopefully somebody will clean it up for you. And if they don't die before the end of the round, it'll be, your damage is permanent basically. So you shouldn't feel bad about wounding someone, because the damage carries. But does it carry in between rounds? I think it does. I believe your damage carries over between rounds as well. So the only real time when you injure somebody is not worth it is at the very last second of the game. These are the elevator buttons. You can see they're clearly marked with an arrow up and an arrow down. It takes about 2 or 3 seconds for the elevator to go from up position to down or vice versa. All you have to do is put your hand on it. It's not a physical button. It doesn't have any physical components. You just put your hand on it and the button will register when your hand is there. Like I said, it makes a lot of noise, but if you're the kind of person who likes going for headshots, it's the best place to be. Elevators, like I said, can be dangerous because it gives away your position, but also when people are overactive and decide to like jump off the platform, they might not notice people who are physically under them, or like not under but below the elevator looking up. Basically, if you can't see them, doesn't mean they're not there. That's a cardinal rule of VR. Always treat the physics and the geometry with respect, because you don't want to go finding out what is real and what is fake by an accident. Not fake, but made of, you know, light. Light is not fake. There are some people who, after 3 rounds, never discover the elevator, and I'm very sad for them because it definitely is a huge component of the game. Like, who doesn't like having the high ground, moral or otherwise, and going for the high risk, high reward skill shots with a sniper rifle. But eventually you do run out. You can use the AR up there, but it's not really optimized for it. It's got a slight spread in the guns, not too in the bullets, but the sniper rifle is true. It shoots exactly where you go. The spread on the AR is actually negligible, especially at most distances. You probably won't even notice. But headshots, if that's what you're going for, your sniper rifle is your best friend. Here's an inside view of the teleporter. This is facing the back of it. If you wanted to see the arena, you would turn around. But you'll see there's 2 buttons. The buttons in zones 1 are, one circle represents your base and one circle represents the enemy base, and you can teleport in between the 2 with a 5-second cooldown in between. The home button in zone 2 is how you get back down. Sometimes people will just start smashing buttons and trying to get down, and they'll hit the teleport button and put the home button on a 5-second lockout so they can get confused. But the buttons are clearly delineated, and generally cooler heads prevail. I recommend using the teleporter for anybody who feels adventurous as well too. There's something really interesting about being up above so high on the arena and being able to basically shoot at people who have absolutely no idea if you're above their base or above your base, and you can switch freely every 5 seconds. So it keeps the element of chaos in effect. So a lot of games, if a team is losing during the 3rd round, before the 3rd round, they'll get disheartened. I said, don't worry, the 3rd round changes everything. The teleporters change everything about the game, because it's a different skill set altogether. It's more about surprise and ambush than it is, you know, run and gun, shoot 'em up fraggers. Well, that's it. That's Showdown for you, everybody. Thanks for joining us and watching, and I hope to see you sometime soon here in sunny Santa Monica. I've been Steve Whittle. Thanks very much. Bye.